Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about how and when the Mercedes AMG was born. But before we start video, first you tell me that Mercedes company is from which country? Let me know in the comments. Let's start. There is a three-pointed star that the world recognizes instantly, a symbol of luxury and engineering excellence that has adorned the grilles of automobiles for over a century. But hidden within that star, lurking in workshops in Automotive, Germany, beats a heart that transforms civilized Mercedes sedans into fire-breathing machines that can embarrass supercars costing twice as much. And that heart belongs to AMG. Three letters that make enthusiasts' pulses quicken and wallets tremble. Three letters that represent one of the most fascinating transformations in automotive history. From renegade tuning shop to the very soul of Mercedes-Benz performance. And to understand what AMG really is, to grasp how it differs fundamentally from the Mercedes badge it now sits beside, we need to travel back to 1967, to a time when two former Mercedes engineers named Hans Werner Aufrecht and Erhard Melcher decided that the staid, comfortable luxury cars their former employer was building had far more potential lurking beneath their elegant sheet metal. And these weren't just weekend tinkerers. These were men who had worked in Mercedes' racing department, who understood the architecture of Mercedes engines at a molecular level, who saw the gap between what Mercedes was selling to businessmen and what those same engines could do if someone was willing to push boundaries. And so they formed a company, took the first letters of their surnames and added the letter G for Grossasbach, Aufrecht's birthplace, and AMG was born in a former mill with just a handful of employees and a dream of making Mercedes cars go faster, much faster. And those early days were pure automotive rebellion. AMG would take a Mercedes 300 SEL, a luxury sedan that weighed as much as a small planet and was designed to waft executives to meetings in silent comfort, and they would extract its engine, rebuild it with racing components, install a modified suspension, upgrade the brakes, and create something that had no business existing, a luxury sedan that could compete at racetracks. And their breakthrough came at the Spa 24 Hours race in 1971, when they entered a modified 300 SEL 6.8, a massive red sedan that everyone assumed would be a curiosity, a heavy pig that might complete the race but would never threaten the purpose-built racing cars. Except it didn't just compete, it dominated its class and finished second overall, a luxury sedan beating sports cars. And the automotive world took notice. Suddenly, AMG wasn't just a tuning shop, it was the tuning shop, the place where doctors and lawyers and racing enthusiasts could take their Mercedes and have it transformed into something special, something that retained all the luxury and build quality of Mercedes, but added performance that made Porsche owners nervous. And through the 70s and 80s, AMG built a reputation for painstaking hand assembly, for attention to detail that bordered on obsessive, for engines that were blueprinted and balanced by individual technicians who would sign their work, literally putting their name on a plaque attached to the engine. And this one-man, one-engine philosophy became central to AMG's identity, because these weren't mass-produced power plants rolling off assembly lines. These were artisan-crafted pieces of mechanical art, and the cars they went into became legends. The Hammer, a W124 E-Class sedan with a 6.0-liter V8 producing over 300 horsepower, was in the 1980s the fastest sedan in the world, faster than a Lamborghini Countach, faster than a Ferrari Testarossa, and it looked like a taxi. It had 4 doors and a conservative exterior, and that was the point. That was the AMG ethos, civilized brutality, the ability to take your kids to school in the morning and annihilate supercars on the weekend. And Mercedes-Benz watched all this with a mixture of admiration and concern, because AMG was using their cars as a base, but Mercedes had no control over the quality, no way to ensure that these highly modified vehicles would be reliable or safe. And yet AMG's reputation kept growing. Their cars were commanding massive premiums. Customers were specifically seeking out AMG models, and Mercedes realized they had a problem, or rather, an opportunity. And so, in 1990, they entered into a formal partnership. Mercedes would provide technical support and access to vehicles. AMG would become the official performance division. And this relationship deepened until 1999, when Mercedes-Benz purchased a controlling stake in AMG, and then in 2005 acquired full ownership. And this is where the story gets interesting, because when a major corporation acquires a small performance shop, the usual outcome is that the shop loses its identity, becomes just another trim level, another marketing exercise. But AMG somehow retained its soul, even as it became part of Mercedes. And the reason is geography and philosophy. AMG headquarters remained in Automotive, not at Mercedes' main facility in Stuttgart. It maintained its own engineering teams, its own testing protocols, its own standards, and most importantly, it kept that one-man, one-engine philosophy for its handcrafted power plants. So even today, even as AMG has grown from a small workshop to a full-fledged division producing tens of thousands of cars annually, there's still a craftsman in Automotive hand-assembling every AMG engine, still signing their name to their work, still taking personal responsibility for that engine's performance. And this is the first fundamental difference between AMG and Mercedes. A regular Mercedes is engineered for comfort, for efficiency, for longevity, for the kind of predictable excellence that luxury car buyers expect. The engines are refined and smooth, the suspensions are tuned for compliance, the steering is light and easy, everything is optimized for a serene driving experience. But an AMG is engineered for drama, for emotion, for the kind of visceral experience that makes you want to take the long way home. The engines are hand-built for maximum output, often with twin turbochargers force-feeding air into combustion chambers. The suspensions are stiffer with adaptive dampers that can switch from comfortable to track-ready. The brakes are massive ventilated discs with multi-piston calipers. The exhaust systems are tuned to produce sounds that would make a normal luxury car owner complain, but make an enthusiast grin. And this difference extends to every aspect of the vehicle. Walk around a regular Mercedes E-Class and you'll see elegant proportions, tasteful chrome accents, wheel designs that suggest refinement. But walk around an E65 AMG and you'll see wider fenders to cover wider tires, aggressive front fascias with larger air intakes to feed those hungry engines, quad exhaust pipes that announce performance intentions, and the little details that enthusiasts obsess over, like the AMG engine plaque showing which craftsman built your particular motor. And under the hood is where the real magic happens, because AMG doesn't just tune Mercedes engines, they create entirely new power plants. The M139 2.0-liter four-cylinder in the A45 AMG produces over 400 horsepower from just 2 liters, making it the most powerful production four-cylinder in the world. The M177 and M178 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8s produce anywhere from 500 to over 700 horsepower, depending on application, with torque figures that would have been unthinkable from naturally aspirated engines of the past. And these aren't just powerful engines, they're sophisticated pieces of engineering, with technologies like cylinder deactivation for efficiency, variable valve timing for broad power bands, and in some models, an electrically assisted turbocharger that eliminates lag. And the transmissions are equally special. AMG uses Mercedes' 9-speed automatic in some models, but enhances it with faster shift programming and launch control, while the most hardcore AMG models get dual-clutch transmissions that can change gears in milliseconds with a violence that slams you back in your seat. And the chassis engineering is where AMG really earns its reputation, because it's relatively easy to build a powerful engine, but making a car that weighs 2 tons handle like it weighs half that requires serious suspension engineering. AMG models get completely redesigned suspension geometry, stiffer springs and anti-roll bars, adaptive dampers that can adjust firmness hundreds of times per second, and in many models, an electronically controlled limited slip differential, or even all-wheel drive with torque vectoring that can send power to individual wheels to help the car rotate through corners.
And the braking systems are simply massive, with composite ceramic discs available on many models that can stop these heavy performance sedans from speed with fade-free consistency. And all of this technology is packaged in vehicles that still function as daily drivers, that still have comfortable seats and quiet cabins, and all the luxury amenities you'd expect from Mercedes. And this is perhaps the most remarkable thing about AMG, this duality, this ability to be a comfortable cruiser in traffic and a track weapon on weekends. And Mercedes-Benz has expanded the AMG lineup dramatically in recent years. There are now AMG versions of nearly every Mercedes model, from the tiny A-Class hatchback to the massive G-Class SUV to the ultra-luxury S-Class sedan. And this expansion has created some confusion because not all AMG models are created equal. Mercedes now offers AMG line packages, which are essentially appearance packages, giving regular Mercedes models AMG styling without the performance hardware. And then there are the true AMG.
They called it the most sophisticated air defense network on Earth.